Hey guys, it's Dustin. Today is June the 12th. Hopefully y'all can see me okay. The moment I stepped out the door, my camera lens fogged up because it's so warm and humid out here. And the lens is cold from being in the house. Anyways, I'm going to show y'all what's going on a little bit. Maybe. Camera lens all fogged up. But, and then I've got to relieve the air in that Pigeon's air sac. Anyways, so hopefully without everyone trampling the stuff I've got over here. Things to be updated on. The rollers in this box did accept the white ringneck dove egg and are incubating it. They never did lay a second egg of their own, and the one that they did lay I threw out because it was all dirty from being, they laid it in the middle of the floor. It's pretty rough shape. So I just threw it out, and they're just raising the dove egg. So that was weird. I don't know what it was, but I felt the loft kind of rattle or vibrate a little bit. It's kind of weird. Anyways, and their baby that they've got in here is doing just fine. It's so muggy out here. Anyways, their babies are doing fine. Both cocks, a blue bar and a blue check, or not blue, red, an ash red bar and an ash red check in there. Let me move the parents out of the way so y'all can see these two right here. That one's a check, and then a nice bar. Hopefully y'all can't really see because it's fogging up again. Anyways, the satin nets abandoned their eggs in their nest. I could have sworn they had 2 eggs, but I can only find 1. Anyways, they let it was really dirty, and it got rolled out of the nest and they just gave up on it, and it died. Now, instead of just throwing it out, I tossed it down on something hard so it bust open. I could see how far it got along, and it looks like it was still living up until the point where it got rolled out of the nest and got cold. It was only a few days from hatching. Would have hatched on Thursday the 15th, so it was only 3 days away from hatching, but unfortunately it died. These babies down here, I'm still worried that their dad was one of the rollers in here. That is the danger in having the rollers and the homers in here together. Though until now it hasn't been a problem. And it's still possible that it wasn't. There are plenty of homers with some white flights, and for all I know, either one of the, and I'm talking about the cock and the hen that I bred together, not the babies, either one of their parents, either one could have parents or grandparents, or both of them could have parents or grandparents that have white flights, and that could have gotten passed down. So just because they have white flights doesn't mean that they are half roller, but it's more likely than not that they are half roller. Anyways, these guys, their baby is still doing fine. Same for this pair. Y'all can see them in there. Oh, it's all fogged up again. There we go. Now maybe y'all can see them in there. This nest box keeps getting glozed. I'm hoping the white homers will use it. Here's Willie. I can't believe Willie's not on my shoulder already. Man, this camera keeps fogging up really badly. Anyways, Charles doesn't really need to be in here anymore. The only reason he was... And he's on my shoulder. Hey, Willie. I mean, not that I mind him being on my shoulder. I like having Willie around. Anyways, Charles, y'all remember that he broke all of his tail feathers very close to the base. Still don't know how he did it, but he did it over the course of a few days. Broke them all. So I pulled them all out so they would regrow, which is something that I had been told not to do because it was painful for them and because it would mess up their molt and all that stuff. But I've done it in the past, so I already knew what was going to happen. But I made it a public experiment on my YouTube channel. Pulled all 12 of them, and all 12 have grown back, and because I put him in the breeding loft where there's basically an endless supply of food, he's gotten all the nourishment he needed. There's no streaks in the tail feathers where he hasn't went through a period of time where he didn't have enough food. Nothing like that. They all grew back perfectly fine. I think they're finished growing now. Let me set the camera up here and let me show y'all. Hopefully y'all can see. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All 12 grew back. I think they're finished growing now. No streaks or anything. They all look perfect. So, and as y'all remember, he showed no signs of any pain when I pulled them out either. Pigeons can actually even drop their feathers. I've grabbed pigeons in the past, grabbed them as they were trying to fly past me. I grab them, it surprises them, and they'll drop their feathers and slide right out of my hand. I'll be left with a handful of body feathers. And that's why you see a big poof of feathers every time a hawk hits a pigeon, or a dove or pigeon is shot. So they can, it doesn't seem to cause any pain. Even if it did, it was minimal enough that he showed no signs of it, and in return he got a full set of tail feathers. So it seemed, and they grew back fairly quickly. I'll go back and see what how long it took, but I think he grew all 12 of those feathers back in perfect condition, by the way, pretty quickly. It seems to have gone pretty well. So I would consider that a successful experiment. If you have a pigeon who has broken tail or wing feathers, just as long as you know for sure that they are fully grown, because again, it would damage the I'm not sure what you would call the place where it grows out. Anyways, maybe you'd call it a pore. I don't think so. Anyways, it would damage that if you pulled out a feather that was still in the blood and still growing. But as long as the feather is done growing, if it's broken, just pull it out. A new one will grow in. Even with this extreme case of pulling 12 large feathers out and then all growing back at once, as long as you keep them well fed, no problems. So, and I realize this is only one pigeon that I'm showing y'all, but I've done this with other pigeons before, so I can speak from experience in saying that I've never had a problem with it as long as the feathers are fully grown. So, now I don't know that that would be the case for other birds. From what I understand, pigeons and doves are a little bit different in how their feathers are attached to their body. From what I understand, a lot of other birds, their feathers are more firmly attached and are actually attached to the bone underneath. At least the flight feathers are. So I don't know about other birds, but with pigeons it works just fine. I have noticed she seems to be getting a little stronger on the wing. She's not been able to fly since she injured her shoulder, and she's still got a knot on it, but it doesn't seem to give her any trouble other than the fact that she can't fly. But I've noticed her, she used to just stay on the floor, then she started being up in this first row. Now I'm seeing her in the second row of nest boxes, so I'm hoping that she's slowly regaining strength. Anyways, these pigeons are trampling my stuff over here. So, the pigeon in question, so blue bar, I think is it that one right there, or is that its sibling? No, that's not it. That's its sibling. There it is down there. Alright, so y'all remember it's had I said its crop was full of air. It turned out to not be the crop, but the air sac in front. Anyways, I took it to see a friend of mine, and she was able to get the air out with a needle, a syringe needle, obviously, not a sewing needle, and then gave it some antibiotics, and she gave me antibiotics to be giving it. So that's what I'm going to do, but I've got to get some more air out. You can see there's a new lump right there. I'm actually a little concerned by the fact that that's lower. I'm not sure why that's like that, but we're going to go in and relieve the air again after sterilizing it with this cotton ball that has alcohol that's now been squished by pigeons stepping on it. Anyways, they're in bags, so it's still sanitary. And I'll let y'all see that. Anyways, one of my subscribers, I think his YouTube name would be pronounced Hawaiian Brian. It looks a little funny in writing, but it's actually pretty easy to say and remember. But he named the pigeon. Any patient that's going to get better needs a name, so he named it. And I'm trying to remember what he named it now. I might have to just go back and look after I do this. So I'm going to go in right here. I think that's air. See, I'm a little concerned by how much lower this is. See, she went in from the neck up here, But now this is not just so I didn't even think to restart the camera before doing that, and the camera went off. So I really hope that y'all caught that. If not, I guess I'll tell you what happened, but I know it's not the same. Basically, I just rubbed right here with a cotton ball that had alcohol on it. Helps get the feathers out of the way and also sterilizes it, since I am sticking a needle in him. And then I used... what did I just do with it? I used this syringe right here, stuck it into him, and let all the air out of this. It was a bubble right here. There's still a little bit, and I was still massaging it a little bit. But I did it with the needle in it. Wiggled the needle around a little bit to help get the air coming out. Anyways, seems to be alright. I went in through the side, as my friend told me, her name's Jackie, told me to do to avoid hitting the crop. Don't want to do that. And then basically not much more to it, except that now I'm going to give him his antibiotics. I really hope that y'all saw that, but the camera cut out. I really hate that my camera does that. Anyways, so the antibiotics thing is a little easier when he's when I sit him down, but I guess I'll just do this. She didn't even open his beak earlier. She just kind of dripped it on the side. Yeah, he didn't really care for that. Alright, come here. Getting a pigeon's beak open is not really all that difficult, but I'm trying to hold it with one hand so y'all can see. I'm just going to have to sit this down. I'm sorry, guys. Alright, sorry, I know y'all couldn't see that, but I think that one's pretty straightforward. Open his mouth, drip a little drop or two of the antibiotic in there, and then you're done. But anyways, really hate that the video went out. In case y'all couldn't hear me, one of my subscribers, whose YouTube username I think is pronounced Hawaiian Brian, even though it's not spelled like Hawaii, it's like hey-y-n. Anyways, he named it, because every patient, if they're going to get better, needs a name. But now I'm trying to remember what he named it, because I have to look at someone or something and say names several times before I can remember it. Anyways, I'm looking it up now. While I'm looking it up, I'll tell you all about what else I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be cleaning out the loft and putting pine shavings in the bottom again. And because I know someone's going to say something, no, never do cedar. Yes, aspen is better than pine, and pine is not the best, but aspen is very expensive compared to pine. And it's not that I'm cheap, but more that I'm not made of money. So... and I've not had a problem with the pine before, so that's why I'm doing pine. Anyways, but y'all can see the loft is fairly dirty, so I'm going to be cleaning it out. Scrape down everything. Basically, pigeons like these that are sitting on babies, and this one sitting on eggs, they'll be locked into their nest boxes, but the ones on the floor, the satin nets abandon their eggs, and the other babies I've got in there, they're old enough. Sorry, I'm trying to look it up on my phone, but my phone's real slow. And you know what, just give me a moment, guys. So I don't know if y'all will be able to see this very well on the camera, but it says, but his comment is, yes, Mr. Swollen Neck is not a very good name. Anyways, he wants to call it Ponot. It's spelled P-O-N-O, but pronounced, best I can tell, Ponot, and it means having goodness of spirit. So I like that name. It describes it. It's a pretty typical baby. Kind of keeps to itself. It stays down on or near the floor. But Ponot is its name. It's a Hawaiian name, and I think that's kind of cool. But being as it's, I mean, names take me a little bit anyways, but being as it's not a name I'm used to, I'll probably have to look at it again several times before I'll get used to calling calling it that, but Ponot is its name. And you can see it still looks a little swollen there, but not nearly so bad as it was. So, yeah. So hopefully he'll be getting better. I'm going to be giving him the antibiotics for about 7 days, is what she said to do. And I'll give them the antibiotics twice a day, today and tomorrow. And then after that, I think it'll just be 1 day. Anyways, got to get these things taken care of. This little one, it is a little thin. I don't really like that. Now, for the most part, everyone in here has been staying pretty healthy and at a pretty good weight. The blue check hen from this nest box is a little underweight, but that's because she's been basically a baby machine. She's been pumping out a lot of babies. Anyways, and where is she? There she is. That one right there. Anyways. Not right now, I'm filming. Anyways, so other than that, everyone's doing real well. So hopefully her weight comes back up. They've got an endless supply of food. I can't find anything else that seems to be wrong with it. And I've not been seeing any green poop either. But maybe after I clean out the loft. But I've got the pine shavings now, so I'm going to do that. I could put it off, but you know, there's no time like the present. So even though it's a little bit later in the day now, I will do that. But I'll step outside the breeding loft now and show you all some other stuff. I still really like how this baby turned out, being a little red check. And Willie's back over here with me. When I do either get a loft built for the homers to race out of, or hopefully buy the one that I'm wanting to purchase, even though it's just for the homers, I think I'm going to put Willie out there too. Willie won't fly around, but I know I'm going to spend more time in that loft than anywhere. And I like having Willie around, and Willie likes being around me, so I'm going to keep him in there. But, yeah. Hey, Willie. He's really not biting me. He still wants to eat like a little baby. That's what he's doing. Anyways, that's it. Alright, so now we're over here at my temporary young bird loft. Anyways, it's late enough in the day now that y'all can see in here better. This is more or less a success story for right now, and I think things will only continue to get better once I get my new loft. Basically, it's getting overcrowded, yes, and obviously I'm working on that. I'm still seeing some green poop here from someone. I don't know what pigeon is doing it, but I've been picking them up pretty much at random, but I think I've gotten basically everyone. And again, I'm looking forward to having them in a bigger loft I can walk inside of. It'll make checking them over a lot easier, as I can't reach to the back of this loft just standing on the ground. But I've basically been keeping food available to them. They're still getting probiotics in the water. This is probably their 3rd or 4th day with probiotics in the water. I'm not sure how long I'm going to continue to give it to them. They probably don't really need it too bad anymore. Anyways, so everyone's weight's been pretty good. Now that satin net is a little light, but it is improving, and y'all can probably see. Y'all can probably tell its crop is full of food. If it'll turn sideways again, you'll be able to see better. Yeah, you can see there's plenty of food in its crop. So it's eating. I think it'll continue to do better. And with most of these guys, you can see they've got plenty of food in their crops. There's Bentley right there. I can tell that satinette is definitely a cock. Some of the others I don't know yet, but I can tell that satinette is a cock. So everything seems to be doing pretty well. You can see they knocked over that water, but I've got 2 in here now, so that one's still got water in it. So I may refill them before I go to bed, or I may just refill them in the morning. I've got to go somewhere pretty early tomorrow, so I'll probably refill them before I can go in for the night. Down there, things are not looking nearly so good. There's not a lot to really show you, so I guess I'll walk down here and show y'all. But, yeah. Alright, so down here things are not so good. I probably never should have mixed this indigo check in with the rest of these birds. Basically, they were all seeming to be doing better, including the indigo check, but now not so much. The indigo checks had started to gain weight back, but has now stopped, and the other birds are noticeably thin. Y'all probably, let me open this so y'all can actually see, but y'all probably can't tell by looking. In fact, if you look, you can see that bird's got plenty of food in its crop. So does that one. It actually looks like a good thing, but as y'all can see, I'm starting to see green poop again in here. I don't know if y'all can see very well. Maybe y'all can't, but I'm starting to see some green poop in here. I don't think that this bird is actually pooping green. Doesn't look like it. There's nothing staining its feathers. Though, of course, the back of its tail there is not looking too great. And I keep food available for them pretty much 24/7. But look right there, I see some green diarrhea, so I may need to start the coccidiostat again. But, of course, I need to consider that it may not be coccidiosis. There could be something else. I would like to take a bird to the vet. I actually called the vet today to see how expensive a stool sample would be, to give them basically take them some poop and have them look at it and see if there's anything wrong with it. And they said that in-house it was going to be something like $31, I think is what they said, and out-of-house, meaning they send it away to have more tests done on it, is $80-some, which is not exactly cheap. Though at $30 for that, that's doable. But in order to basically do anything with that information, in order to prescribe any kind of medication, do anything basically, they have to have what's called a physical on file. And basically means I have to take them the pigeon the poop came from, and they have to actually examine it and look it over. Unfortunately, it costs, and I know this because I've taken a pigeon before, it costs $50 just to have them examined. And examined basically meaning they pick it up, they look at its butt, they open its mouth, look down its throat, feel it, and then tell you what they think, whether they think they need to do more or what you know. With the pigeon that I took last time, that would be April, after he had hit the roof of the house and it caused nerve damage to his legs, they were able to tell just by feeling his legs, pushing on his feet and stuff, and just hearing what had happened. Basically, they were able to tell me it was nerve damage, prescribed physical therapy and the prednisolone, something, whatever it is, which was fine, and that worked, and that was great. But even that cost me like almost $70. So to get the bird examined is $50, plus the stool sample is a little over $80, and then add on the cost of whatever medication they prescribe. You know, I'm looking at $100 or more right there. So, that's kind of a troubling problem, because you got to say, well, are the birds worth it? Well, those birds in particular are not worth a specifically high amount of money, but they are lives, and their lives are worth quite a bit to me. But it's not that I'm cheap and I'm saying, well, I have the money, I just don't want to spend it. I don't have that much money to just go spend on at the vet. And unfortunately, and I'm not criticizing the vet, birds are just not a common thing at the vet. You have to go to school longer for birds. There's other you have to specialize in them. It's a lot of extra labor, a lot of extra money for the person in college and all that. And so it's more expensive, and that's understandable. But it's very unfortunate for me and anyone else with pigeons that it is so expensive, especially when you have a flock. This is more comparable to livestock than a vet. If I need to take my parakeet or my rabbit to the vet, that's one thing. That's just, that's an indoor pet. I've just got one of them. That's one thing. But a flock, which is breeding, flying, you're bringing birds in, buying, selling, that's livestock. And it's, when you're in that kind of situation, you're going to be experiencing a lot more variety in disease and parasites, and you're going to be running into it more often. So what I think I'm going to do is see if I can't figure out about some kind of a livestock vet that is familiar with you know, chickens and turkeys and, you know, game birds, that kind of thing, they're going to probably be able to do pretty good with the pigeons as well, and it's probably going to be a lot cheaper. So I'm going to see what I can't dig up on that. Of course, I'm not saying I'm going to look into it over the next couple of weeks. You know, this is something I need to, you know, hurry up on. When pigeons start, when any kind of bird really, when they start getting sick and they start going downhill, they tend to go downhill pretty quick. And when you have a flock, it starts a snowball effect, and they start pulling more and more birds down with them. So those guys are isolated over there. These guys are doing much better, much better, and are improving, and those guys are not. Worst case scenario, all of them, I come out here in the morning, they're all dead. That would be terrible, don't get me wrong, but at least they're isolated from these birds, and they should not be affected by it. So I'm at least thankful for that. But of course I want to do everything that I can for those birds down there. So not just out of perspective of what can I gain from them by racing or whatever, but, and I realize that not everybody looks at it this way, but you know, they have lives, and you know, despite what you believe religion-wise and afterlife-wise, it's a pretty general consensus that animals do not have spirits, and this is the one life they've got. So I want to take, and their lives have been entrusted to me, so I want to do whatever I can to take care of them. Anyways, I do have one other thing. Alright, so my camera battery died, but I pretty much said everything I was going to say. Basically, regardless of what they are worth in money, they are worth quite a bit. So this is my snake box I built, which I should have unlocked before turning on the camera. The reason it only has one latch is because I bought a, I thought I had bought a 2-pack, but it turned out to just be one hinge in the pack. I'm used to buying little hinges for the loft, and they always are 2 to a pack, but this one's not. Anyways, got a water bowl in there. I've got pine shavings in here. Just realized I was turning the lock the wrong way because I'm trying to talk so y'all aren't bored while I do this. Anyways, I've just got this cheap dollar store number lock. Just something to keep it shut and keep little kids from messing with it. I would like for this to be inside. Unfortunately, my parents haven't let me bring snakes into the house since I lost one in there a couple years ago, or a year or 2 ago. It was a mole king snake. Anyways, I stuck 2 hides in here for him, but he's in this one. He, she, whatever. And there it is, right there. Come on. Come on out. Let me sit y'all down right there. Here we go. I think it's about 5 feet long. I'm not really sure. Anyways, wrap it around my neck there so I can be hands-free. And I'd rather it not be quite so close to my face, but yeah. Pretty nice snake. I realized y'all couldn't see it very well in the last video, so anyways, just wrap it around my neck so it's a little easier to hold its body, and then I got it right here. So it's a pretty nice snake. I like it. A lot of y'all probably, if y'all found a snake in the loft, would just chop its head off, but I'm enjoying having it. But anyway, speaking of snakes, I saw a checkered garter snake by the shed that my loft was up against earlier. So I'm trying to catch him before he gets a chance to get in the loft. Checkered garter snakes are a small to medium-sized colubrid. If you don't know what a colubrid is, basically it's a constricting snake that's not tropical. So boas and pythons would not be considered colubrids, but things like rat snakes, king snakes, garter snakes, those kinds of usually a little bit faster moving, skinnier constrictors, and a constrictor being a snake that wraps around its prey to kill it instead of biting it, because they're not venomous, so that wouldn't do them any good. Anyways, so but garter snakes are pretty well known for the fact that aside from small rodents like mice, they'll also eat reptiles, amphibians like frogs. They'll eat fish actually. They're somewhat popular for the fact that you can feed them, goldfish from Walmart, whatever. It makes them a cheaper snake to feed. Not that snakes are very expensive to feed anyways, they only eat once a week. But, yeah. So you can see this guy is remaining pretty motionless right now, but if I let him, he'll explore a little bit. So, got a cool pattern underneath it, the black and the white. But hopefully I'll get a hold. It was a pretty large garter snake, so I'm not worried about it getting in through the window or anything. But if y'all remember, I didn't put 2x4 brace the floor with the door with 2x4s, so the it's been out at the bottom left corner, and even a large snake could easily fit through there. So, but anyways, this guy's been pretty nice. Hadn't tried to bite me or anything. So, don't know if it's male or female yet. I haven't checked. But not sure what it's doing right now. Probably wants to go up my sleeve into my shirt, and I'd rather it not do that. So, I think that's it for the video. So, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and before I forget, Hawaiian Brian, he named that the blue bar with the problem with its air sac. But I've still got that indigo check roller frill cross, I know is a hen, and then because it's blue, and then the red, its brother, which was ash red, is a cock, and then both of their siblings, the younger ones over there near the door, they're both cocks. And then, what are you doing, snake? And then the April's baby is a hen. I know that because it's blue. Again, a sex-linked breeding. And so none of them have names, but I know their genders, so no excuse not to give them one. But I thought I would let y'all name them if y'all liked. That not excluding Hawaiian Brian, of course. Just because you named one doesn't mean you can't name another. But if y'all have any suggestions, just leave it in the comments. I'm going to put this snake back. It's getting a little riled up. But thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos, more pigeons, more other animals. Hopefully I'll catch that garter snake. I'll just be keeping a check over here near the shed, especially in the mornings, and hopefully I'll find it. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.